Good morning, boys and girls. Today I will be teaching you the different ways we can represent multiplication facts. I will be demonstrating to you the different ways to work through multiplication facts, and once we have covered the different strategies, I will have you practice the different strategies on your own. Let's get started. So what you're going to need for this lesson is some markers and some paper. For teaching purposes, I'm going to be using a small whiteboard to show you how to solve the different multiplication strategies. But I would like you to please use paper and continue to use markers because these will be tools that you can look back on once if you're ever approached with a multiplication fact in the future and you would like to know how to solve it using a certain strategy, you can refer back to these papers that you're going to make today. So what we're going to be doing is making a multiplication anchor chart. And on your piece of paper, what I would like you to do is at the top of your paper, if you would like to use 4 different pieces of paper, that's fine. If you're using giant paper, then I would like you to divide your board into 4 sections. That's only if you're using giant paper. I know some students might have access to poster paper, and if you want to just make this all on one big piece of paper, that's fine. If not, and you just have a piece of paper the size of my little whiteboard, that's going to work perfectly fine as well. So we're going to make a multiplication anchor chart that will be used as a tool to help us solve future multiplication problems. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a multiplication problem, and then I'm going to give you around 30 seconds to solve. And I'm going to have you do this by using a specific strategy that we're about to learn. So first, let's go over how to represent multiplication. So there are 4 different strategies that we could use. Now, if you're taking notes, I would like you to write this down. The first strategy is equal groups. Okay. Now, I wrote equal groups in my purple marker, so I'm only going to solve the problems that I solve using equal groups. I'm only going to write it in purple so that I can demonstrate, and whenever I go back and I look, I know equal groups is my purple marker. If you want to use a different color marker for equal groups, that's perfectly fine. But what I would like you to do is to set aside 1 marker specifically for each strategy. So I would like you to have at least 4 different colored markers. So first one is equal groups. The second strategy that we can use is in array. Don't worry, I know that you might not be knowing what these words mean now, but I want you to know that once we go through the strategy, I will be demonstrating and giving a definition of what the words mean. So we have an array, and I set my orange marker aside because I'm going to only use orange for array. Okay, and then next, our third strategy, we can represent multiplication by using skip counting. Okay, that is my green marker. I'm going to set that aside. And last but not least, we have, that marker's a little dry. Last but not least, we have repeated addition. I'm going to use blue. So these are some new math words that we've come across so far in our lesson. We have 4 different strategies to represent multiplication: equal groups, array, skip counting, and repeated addition. So why don't we get started, and I'm going to demonstrate the first strategy, and that is going to be equal groups. Okay? So I will be using my purple marker to show you how to represent multiplication using equal groups. So if I have I'm going to write equal groups at the top so that you know this is what we are working with. Okay, so if I have a multiplication problem, let's say 3 times 6, I will write that at the top, equals, don't know quite yet. So if I have a multiplication problem 3 times 6, how you're going to show this using equal groups is you can read this multiplication problem as 3 groups of 6. So what we're going to do is I will make 6 X marks, and I'm going to circle it. That's 1 group of 6. I'm going to make another, because how many groups of 6 do we need? 3 groups of 6. That's 2 groups of 6. That's 3 groups of 6. So by looking at this, we have 3 groups of 6. We have 6 in this group, plus 6 more would give us, let's count down, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then our third group of 6, counting on from the last one, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So now we know that 3 groups of 6 equals 18, or 3 times 6 equals 18. So that is your equal group strategy. Make sure you grab another piece of paper if you are ready for the array strategy. I'm going to go ahead and erase. Okay. Our next strategy is an array. Now, an array is a new word that we haven't learned yet, but I'm going to have you write this down in your notebook. An array is an ordered series or arrangement. So an array is an ordered series or an arrangement. And let me show you how we do that. So, titled at the top array, I'm using my orange marker, and I'm going to write the multiplication fact: 3 times 4 equals. And we'll figure that out, okay? So, what we're going to do first is it's at an ordered series or arrangement. So we're going to arrange, let's just do squares. So we're going to draw 3 squares going across. Okay, you can fill your squares in. So 3 going across, but we have 3 times 4. So I'm going to do 4 going down. So here's my first one: 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we need to fill it in the rest of the array because this is not ordered properly. So fill in the rest of the array. We have 4 going down, 3 going across, 3 times 4. So let's fill in the rest of our array. Now, how many do we have all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 3 times 4 equals 12. All right?